Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Discover New Music podcast from us at Pelt Music. Shortly, we'll be joined by State of You, who we recently featured over on our Discover New Music playlist on Spotify with their latest single, The New Depression. But before then, the usual reminders from myself. If you would, please do follow Pelt on social media. We're on Facebook at Pelt and on Twitter and Instagram at Pelt Music. And again, if you would, please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, wherever you're watching or listening. Welcome to Steve from State of You to the Full Pop Music Discover New Music podcast. Absolutely delighted to have you on. Lots for us to
Thanks.
talk about around the band.
I should probably explain. I've just come from work. I'm a lorry driver, but I'm on time. I was on time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, there's so much to talk about right now in rock music, dude. Like literally, just like Brad Wilk dropping that with Rage Against the
I
Machine.
know,
That's like my
devastating.
dude. Dude, that's my favorite band of all time. That's the second cassette I ever got. Right. I was so lucky. I think I saw them 9 times. Right. Like I flew by myself to see them at the reunion show, Coachella, and everything. I had tickets to see them at Reading.
Me
They
too.
cancelled, and it's just that thing where you're like, it's just a reminder, man, that bands aren't like these huge, companies which just, they're real people in there. Do you know what I mean? And like, I didn't really need to know what was happening in between, but we're so lucky we got all the music when we did. I'm grateful I got to. Did you ever get a chance to see him?
Yeah, twice, thankfully. Yeah.
Oh, what'd you see him?
Downloads, so their last UK show, and Tea
Yeah.
in the Park in 2008. So, I mean, that one was special. That was like an incredible crowd for that.
Whoa, oh man, I was there for the download show.
Yeah.
I was really lucky. I saw them 3 times in like about 5 days. I went to see them in Dublin. I went to the Finsbury Park free show, and then also download. But what was Tea in the Park like?
Oh, it was just insane. Like the crowd was just so up for it, and because that was 2008 when they first like reformed, and I just
Yeah,
remember being down the front, and a lot of people weren't prepared for what was about to come, and there was just this mass like exodus of people trying to get out, which just caused this crush.
yeah,
But like, yeah, special memories. Like there was incredible gig.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man. That band is. There'll never be another band like that, man. I did a load of like Rage live videos last night, and saw one. I think it was in Chile or something like Chile, and
Mm,
it's just they start with Testify, and just the waves
that's
of
it.
the crowd. You're just like, oh my god, they're just yeah. So but hey, we've still got the music, and thankfully because of YouTube,
Absolutely.
we've got like 100 million gigs on YouTube now.
Starting things off the way we always start things off. We always start off with a feature called the Origin Story. So it's the Discover New Music podcast, and it's for listeners to hopefully discover some new music. So for people unfamiliar with State of You, how did you come into being? What is the origin story for the band?
I got caught speeding. I
That's
went
unique.
to a speed awareness. Yeah, dude, I went to a speed awareness course, right? And as soon as I walk in, there's a guy there called Tom Ford who so, used to be in Young Guns, and like in my old band Outcry Collective, I think we must have toured with them about 12 times, right? And and I was like, and he was like, "Hey man, what are you doing here?" And I was like, "Well, same thing as you." Do you know what I mean? And then afterwards, we were like, "Oh, we should some jam or something like that." And I hadn't done any music in quite some time. And then he was like, there's a Nick Jones who's in Poland. I've known a long time. He wants to do something, so we got together. And I'm trying to remember what order. Oh, then and Ollie Jeffs from Hilda May, he was playing bass. I think we had 2 practices or something like that. And then I got hammered drunk, like hammered drunk. And I remember sending this message like, "Man, I just want to say how much I fucking love you. Like that. This is so cool. I'm so excited." It's this huge diatribe at like 6 a.m. or something. And then we didn't hear from Tom again. Right? I love the guy. I'm sure he's out there doing well. He might still be in the band. I don't know. Um, and so then Ollie switched to guitar. We got Rick Keenan, who was also in Poland and stuff, on for bass. And then they were like, kind of, we should get a second guitarist. And like I said, my favorite band's Rage. So I was like, "Nah, man, keep it as a 4-piece." And they were like, "No, because then we can sort of add this and that." And I was like, all right, like kind of who you thinking? And they're like, Max and Neil. And I was like, well, I love Max. Yeah, I mean, he's so cool. He's so talented and everything. So I was like, cool. And then we started, I think, if I remember right, because it was before COVID, we had a few practices and then COVID hit.
Mm.
And we just sort of, we were sending demos and like ideas and stuff where like Ollie, who sort of and will often come up with like the bass of the song and everything. He'd come up with these ideas and put them and send them to me, and I got this Scarlet box thing that I was like doing like that was my car resting, that wasn't me. And it was, and so I'd be doing like vocal demos like in my living room, you know, whilst we're still wiping down food. You know what I mean? And then we did a video, and we got let me forget that's right. Yeah, Aaron McKenzie from While She Sleeps. He's a really good friend of mine now. Like, you know, I speak to him all the time, and without going too far, we can come back to that. But yeah, I write a lot of stuff with him, like horror stuff. But and then he got us in touch with Silent Cult, our label, and they were like, "Yeah, you know, we think you guys are great." And so we then recorded the EP with Oz Crags. Hidden Track Studios down in Folkestone, and then yeah, it's just sort of like what's so cool about this is I literally like I work, I'm a dad, and I walk my dog, and that's kind of it. So we don't really get much time to even talk about music. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I just work with some guys. I'm like, you know, what's the music you like? And they're like, anything really. I'm like, wow, we're different. You know what I mean? Like I need to know I've got my favorite albums right there in case I have some crisis. I can like
Yeah.
dive into Deftones quickly or whatever it is. But yeah, and then we've played I think only like 9 shows or something. You know what I mean? We try and play like when we can, and it's the group chat. We're always sort of like, you know, what's everyone up to and this and that, and no ideas. I mean, literally, like we just signed with Silent Cult again for a 7-track album, which is new to me. I didn't know 7 tracks counts as an album now, right?
Mm.
But I
Yeah.
mean, we've got like like literally like 60 songs we're trying to pick
Yeah.
because it's just we just had all that time, you know what I mean, like that, and we just sort of, you know, we'll get at it, and everyone's, you know, been in bands before and kind of works hard and everything, so I'm sure it will be something we all love, you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it will be as well because I've absolutely loved what I've heard so far, and it's quite funny. I
Thank you,
mean,
mate.
obviously, the pandemic still creeps into these podcasts, even though we all desperately want to forget, about those sort of years. But being the Discover New Music podcast, there's a lot of bands that formed during that time, and one of the only real sort of positives that come out of that time was time. Bands had more time to be able to write and record music, and obviously you've got quite a bit to sort of siphon down now to the 7 songs for the album. But yeah, going back to obviously the origin story, I think you are the only sort of answer so far that has said, yeah, we met at a speed awareness course.
You know what was funny was on the speed awareness course, right? The guy was like, okay, so what are some of the reasons people, you know, drive fast? And someone's like, you know, like because you're late and you know all this stuff. And I was like, I just love going fast. And man, the look I got from the guy, I was like, he was like, well, if you want to go fast, you should, you know, take it to the track and everything. And I was like, no, sir, I completely understand. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
you should, man, because
definitely.
that's on that speed awareness course. It shows you like what happens if you hit someone at like just a few miles over the speed limit, how much more damage and stuff. And it was enough that scared me stiff. And I was like, yeah, that's it. Kind of. The only time I go quick now is like when my son was born, I bought myself like a simulator wheel, you know, like that, and I'll do like F1. That's the only time. Not that I get much time to use it, but yeah, I'm now a
Yeah,
saint. Now a
definitely.
saint.
Definitely, and yeah, that's probably the most important message in the podcast is drive safe, everyone, and don't speed because yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
But moving on to obviously State of You and everything you've got coming up and just came out. Obviously, the New Depression is the song we're featured over on our playlist, so we always ask about the song that's on the playlist. And I was having another listen to it just before we come on, and it's such a ferocious like rip roaring style. I absolutely love it. Like it's one that you can just have on repeat, and yeah, definitely encourage listeners to go and check it out. So Steve, what is the
Thank you so
story,
much.
obviously, of the New Depression?
That one came about. I think we're just talking about the economic climate. You know what I mean? Like, and like pretty much everyone I know right now sort of had to do a job change, or they're feeling the pinch. You know what I mean? Like I was writing, before this, and then I was like, look, I need more money. I just need more money. So I paid for my lorry driving like, training, and then got that and everything. And it was just sort of come out of this pandemic where, it's been said before, it's like the one thing that's ever like unite the whole world. Like this is the one problem we all have. I don't know if you got it, but I caught it twice, and then my son, who's 2, he got it. We had to go to hospital, and luckily it all worked out and everything. And then you come out of it, and then you're just sort of like faced with reality. You know what I mean? It kind of makes you want to just stay, back inside and everything.
Yeah.
And so it came about from that. And so the New Depression is, about like, the depression, financial situation, and then kind of just how it affects you. You know what I mean? Like I was just having a conversation today about, people, you see things that you think you want or you need, and it's hard, to sort of see your way out. You know what I mean? Because it's like, there's guys I work with that, spend all week killing themselves, and they'll blow it all on the weekend.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And you're back into that, and to try and have to think like, do I need this? And then also, is it important? You know what I mean? If you're able to have a roof over your head, and you've got food, and you've got water, kind of, and you can kind of be happy with that, and then kind of try and you know go through that. I mean, one thing that's always helped me is, I know, bands sort of don't get much money and everything, but you get something like Spotify, you literally like, that's priceless. You've got like this wealth of music that you can find and discover and swim through and everything like that. And that, I mean, certainly in the pandemic, I'm sure, you and loads of listeners, that was kind of you getting out of this situation. I remember when Deftones put out their album, there was the first time I remember when they dropped that first single, and that's such a like ethereal band. You know what I mean? Like the like soundscapes they can create and everything. I was like, oh, it's gonna be all right. Kind of, I just had that like kind of that feeling like, listen, if Chino's still doing his thing, it will be all right somewhere on the line. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I felt that completely during the pandemic myself. It was so important for me that there was, light at the end of the tunnel, and that for me that came from music. The fact that there was still
Yeah.
new music to listen to. So absolutely can like sort of emphasize with that, and yeah, connect with the song. Absolutely, and yeah, no, delighted to obviously be able to talk about it, because it is such an awesome song, and listeners really need to check it out, and they also need to check out the video, because I'm a music video nerd, and obviously I always bring up the videos on the podcast. So that's what I was just watching again before coming and talking to you, and I love the video for it as well. It just fits the song so well, and just shows what can still be done with obviously what a lot of people think is a lost art, really, of music videos. So how did the concept for that
That's
come
that. I mean,
together?
yeah, that you're right. It is kind of like a lost art, because these days it's kind of, you watch something once, and then that's kind of it. I mean, I remember, I'd watch like MTV2, and I'd record the videos I wanted, and you'd always miss the first 20 seconds or whatever, but then just watch them over and over and over again. But yeah, that one we did with Aaron McKenzie again, and what I remember from that was afterwards my neck was fucked. That's all I remember. I also remember halfway through watching some playback footage, and and Aaron's great, but he really push you. He'll be like, okay, guys, so that was probably like a 5 out of 10 rocking out. We need you at like 10. You know what I mean? Like, come on, you old fuckers, let's go, something like that. And I remember like seeing playback footage, and someone was like, dude, you kind of look like Woody from Toy Story running. And I was like, man, okay, all right, man. Oh, and having seen Toy Story a lot recently because of my kid,
Yeah.
and I don't like Woody, right? Because Woody's a liar, right? Because he
Oh,
lies about trying to kill Buzz. right? I
Yes,
was playing
yeah.
to my kid, and I was like, hang on. You're flat out lying here. You did try and murder Buzz. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, I would have preferred Baloo from Jungle Book. He's my guy. He's the
Yeah.
cool guy.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. With you, definitely Baloo from Jungle Book, top man. And yeah,
Yeah,
Woody, actually, now you say, yeah, dodgy
dude,
geezer.
don't trust that guy.
Nah,
Don't trust
shady.
that guy. One thing I'm gonna I'll say it now. Hope I'll get it in. I really want to have the lyric "fall apart, fall apart in my backyard," which is what Baloo says at one point. And I was like, man, that would be sick if you did that heavy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that sounds like it should be on that upcoming album, hopefully. Like, definitely. I love that lyric. Yep,
I
fantastic.
will make. I will put that in. I'll put that in.
I can't wait. Definitely cannot wait. And yeah, obviously there is so much exciting stuff coming up from State of You over the next sort of year. Hopefully, new music obviously has been teased already. And for fans that love live music, they can pop along to the Fighting Cocks in Kingston, great venue, on the 24th of February to catch you playing a headline show. Obviously. You must be excited to get out on stage and play, hopefully the New Depression and some of these songs live.
Yeah, I mean, like so my first band, Outcry Collective, we did our EP release show there in like 1991 or whatever it was. No, it was like 2006, I think. And so I got memories of that. I've also got a memory of we toured with Black Hole, and I remember every now and then I'd jump up and like do a song with them. And I remember they were playing there. We weren't not with us. And I remember I went down and jumped up on stage. And there's this weird thing. It's happened to me like 3 times, right? I'm sure that other vocalists have had this where something happened. It's not like an electric shock, right? But there's something that happens between the monitor, your mic, and it does something to your head, and it's this weird thing. You don't go like that, but you just sort of go like that. And I remember I got up like all like fucking here we fucking. I just remember going like, and I remember thinking, oh, I've got away with that. And I remember my friend was like, "How far away do you live from here?" I was like, 45 minutes. He's like, "Why did you come all this way to do that?" You know what I mean? I was like, yeah. So I feel like I've got to reclaim some sort of ground there. But yeah, did I say fighting crocs? Fighting cocks is great. And my mother-in-law to be, she I was like, "Oh, do you want to come?" And she was like, "Oh, like it's not really my thing. Where is it?" And I said, "The Fighting Cocks." And she was like, "Oh my God, that's where I met so my father-in-law to be." And I was like, "Oh right." So now
Wow.
she's coming. So now I
Wow.
have to bring it. You know what I mean? I'll have to do some sort of something special. You know what I mean? Make it worth a while.
Yeah, no, that is special. Special, like a beautiful sort of story there, and obviously coming full circle with you playing in front of them, and yeah, absolutely encourage listeners to pop along and go to the show, check it out if you can.
Well,
Will
I tell you what, it should be good. It should fucking sell out, right? Because we did the Black Heart, and that sold out. We
mm,
found out right before sound check, and that went off, man. Like and I played to like 3 people in the crowd was the lowest I ever played to in Glasgow, and I remember they then came back the next time when it was sold out when we were supporting Young Guns sort of thing. And it's like you're still getting the opportunity to play music, yeah, and that's what it's about. You're not gonna I think be very rare if you're going to start playing music and suddenly like hit some financial high or something. It's all about enjoying yourself. And I think when I was younger, you're always looking for, oh, I want to get there. Like if we get to that, that level, then we'll be happy. Then we'll be happy. Prove ourselves. And then when the band ended, I was like, man, I'd have just appreciated it for what it
mm.
is. So even if God knows what, if this is the last show we were ever to play for whatever reason, you just got to enjoy it and have the best. But yeah, that sells out. That will go off. That will be a hell of a good time. And we'll give it 100%. And I need it, man. I fucking need it. I need to fucking let go, release. Like I said, I'm a saint. I don't do drugs or drink anymore, and so I need that. And I've never done a show sober until I was in this band. If you know what I mean, like I've never
Yeah,
done whatever. And like I remember the first show we played before we were going on, the intro was coming. I was like, how the fuck is this happening again? You know what I mean? Like suddenly this is going to happen, and I was like, whoa, like, I've not done this, but I wouldn't say it's just different because you're kind of able to one you're giving it, you're doing better because you're not sort of like stumbling around or whatever like that, and you're not just going on that whatever it is you're on. You're able to fully like kind of just be aware of the moment and read the crowd better, and we're not doing acoustic numbers
No.
yet. Do you know what I mean? So it is very much like kind of like what the audience brings, is gonna set the tone and everything. And there's something about when there's that energy, you know what I mean, like in the crowd where you feel like, oh, other people are here and they want to have a good time, and it's just so much easier to kind of probably work with is the wrong thing, but just to engage with, because then you get that circular energy where like people are screaming the lyrics back, and you're able to just sort of, I don't know, it just gives you that like huge oomph, as opposed to trying to like win over a crowd or try and save the night because it's like it's an empty venue sort of thing.
Yeah.
I've just jinxed it, haven't I? We're gonna get there. The manager's gonna be like, "Yeah, you got 3 on the door," and I'll be like, "I'll take 3."
And that's the appreciation, as you say, isn't it? Of it is such a tough industry and world at the minute for people, and just appreciating what you have got. But I'm sure there'll be more than 3 people, and obviously, yeah, the crowd energy can really make or break a gig. Obviously, we were talking earlier about me going to see Rage Against the Machine in Scotland at Tea in the Park, and to be honest, I can't really remember much of the band of that night. I mean, it was a lot of years ago now, unfortunately. My big overriding memory of that experience was being in the crowd, the experience of the crowd, and just these memories that can be made, and just last a lifetime, don't they? So
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I remember I went to see Rage at Reading 2000 when I was 17, and I just got found out I'd been like kicked out of my school, and I was gutted because you needed like 3 Bs and 3Cs, and
mm,
I only just like before the pandemic found out I'm ADHD, right? And so like I got like straight A's and like English and art because it's creative, you know what I mean? But everything else, man, I was just sat there I'm not taking this in, and I'm looking at the guy, but I'm not taking it in. And I remember finding out I wasn't gonna, make it to the sixth form. I wasn't gonna see any of my friends sort of like I used to. And I remember I went with my mum drove me and another guy that sometimes we give lifts to, and he did really well. And I remember I went out and I got like 2 A's and I got 3 A's and 2C's, whatever it was. It wasn't enough. And I remember going to the head of the sixth form. It's not even worth saying her name. And being, listen, but I've done this. And I remember she always thought I was trouble, right? I was never trouble, but people always assumed I was trouble for some reason. I remember, and I handed it, and she sort of smirked, folded. She said, good luck, Stephen. And I was like, and it felt like, when you're suddenly knocked into a different
mm,
lane in life. And I remember being like going home, shut my bathroom door, doing that dramatic like slide down and like crying, you know what I mean? And then I
yeah,
think it was the next day or something to Reading, and I remember it was in the Rage Against the Machine mosh pit when Sunny, you're bouncing with the full energy, and I was like, fuck this, I want to be in a band. Do you know what I mean? Like this is, because for me it was about the space. I didn't feel like I had enough space to kind of move. I just wanted to sort of lose my shit, but with more space. But yeah, like all of the good gigs, that you go to or play or whatever. I remember we played with From Autumn to Ashes, I think, and it was someone in that band or someone in another band, and they were like, "Oh, you only ever get 3 good gigs in your career, right?" Man, I had like fucking 70 with my old band. I've had like 9 so far, like that. It's like I don't know what you want out of the gig, but it if you're doing your best and you're enjoying it, and then people kind of I mean, I wouldn't invite hecklers, but we don't get them. I fucking would like it actually, maybe just to kind of like mix it up. Do you know what I mean? I'll be like, all right, okay, what are you going to say? Like that. But now I think the easiest thing that I've learned recently is you take away your ego when you're performing, and you realize it's not about you. It's not about like kind of like I've had a really tough time recently, and I'm not really into it. No, it's like you got to people are paying money, especially in this climate. You better fucking show them a good show. And goes on like a huge Hives fan, right? Seen him a lot. Can't
Yes.
wait to see him next year, right? The fantastic that new album, man.
Yeah.
I've got the CD, I've got my car and everything, and he recently, I think he caught his mic got pulled by his brother's guitar, and it hit him on the head, Pele,
Yeah.
and he's like bleeding, but he continues, and that's what it's about, and that's the stuff which kind of makes it a show, because you're like, oh yeah, like kind of this is live. You know what I mean? Like, and anything
Absolutely.
can kind of happen. And also the thing is, at the end of the day, heavy audiences are normally the coolest people, because they normally are drawn, I believe, drawn to like that music because they've got their own bullshit to deal with, where they're kind of quite internal, and they're not normally ones to kind of take it out on other people. You know what I mean? So they're
Definitely.
normally way more open to hearing stuff. They're way more, appreciative, and just cool, and up for a good time. So yeah, I'm actually buzzing about it, and also it's Friday, man. I finished work. I've got the weekend to, what to myself, but weekend off. You're right. I'm absolutely buzzing about that show. That's gonna be a hell of a show. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say the support yet. It should be Last Hounds. That it should be them. They're great guys. They're really good. I remember after they played with us not long ago, and one of my friends came up to me, and he was like, I'm a straight guy, and he was like, yeah, no, they're great. Yeah, that singer, he's a good looking boy, isn't he? He's a good looking lad. Great body. I was like, yeah, man, he's a cool dude, man. Like, you're married, right? This is the change. But yeah, and fantastic, man. I mean, things is, the British music scene right now in my lifetime, I think it's thriving. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you just, While She Sleeps just did, I was on the Palace, and it's nuts how many. Like, oh, there you go. You can see it. Guilt Trip. I
Yeah.
might be at work. Like phenomenal band, wicked guys. You know what I mean? And I think every band and musician in England right now, in some ways, they're up against it more than ever before. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
it's that's what's going to make the great music coming through. It's the work, and it's the attention and the energy and the passion. That is what's going to keep it going. And the thing is, it's not a fair industry. It's not 1+1 = 2. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get a band that gets way more than they deserve, and then other times bands that just don't get what they should have. But it's and that's it's the dream, because I guess the dream is, you know to get in a band, and then you bring me the horizon, or Arctic Monkeys, whatever, and you're so big, and it becomes this like legend thing where it's this uncontrollable momentum and snowball, right? But sometimes kind of that doesn't happen. But once again, and that's the dream, because that is a dream, right? But also the dream can just be when you just find someone to play music with. You know what I mean? Like I did, and that's, most people in sort of the heavy, sort of audience or whatever, they play guitar, or they want to be in a band or everything like that, and it's amazing. And that's the best part, almost, in being a band, is finding someone else to play with, and to kind of be like, I've got these ideas, and you might be a bit nervous about expressing them, but then you connect, and then you can build something, and suddenly, next thing you know, I mean, like, you get someone screaming that word back at you, and you're like, wow, this is great. Because at the end of the day, we're on this rock in space. Do you know what I mean? And like, all we have is each other. You know what I mean? And we're so lucky right now. We're in England. There's some horrific things
Yes.
going on right now, like just horrific. And so to be able to kind of be in England, where there's still some venues open, and to be able to get out there, and like, relax, and have a good time and everything, that's priceless. You can't put money on that.
Absolutely is priceless, and yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's just so true. Yeah, and again, it's that word appreciation that we touched on earlier. Appreciating what you have got, and obviously, yeah, there's different types of dreams, isn't there, or different levels. Yeah, Bring Me the Horizon level of fame would be great, but equally, being able to do what you love in your own time with the people you enjoy doing it with. I mean, that's the dream as well for
Yeah,
anyone, really.
and Paul, back at you, man. You've got a growing podcast, mate. That's incredible. Like, hats off, man. Fair play, man. I mean, I know so many people that have I could do that, especially around like COVID lockdown time, this and that, and but to do that and to get momentum, that's respect to you, man. To be able to talk to people that you want to talk to and everything, and have, because this is the real shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, kind of like where you realize that we're all the same on some
Yeah,
level. Do you know what I mean? I love podcasts, man. I listen to the Monday morning podcast with Bill Burr. I don't think I've missed one since like 2017, because I was in like this fucking shit time in my life when I felt like I was on the ropes. I kept on getting hit by the universe, and I was kind of like, "What do you want from me?" It's just awful, awful time. And then I remember I saw his stand up, but I was by myself. I was on a sofa at a friend's house. I was crashing there for a while, and I remember I laughed out loud, and I realized I'd not laughed in a long time. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And genuinely laughed, not like kind of like, oh, very good, but like
yeah,
really laughed, and kind of, so, you so there's huge respect for that guy because of that. So I'll never miss his podcast. I almost feel like them because you have so
yeah.
much. You're like the like Anti Jeselnik, the JRVP, I think it's called. But yeah, it's podcasts are the new thing. It's you get so much out of it, and then it's cool when you meet someone like this, a guy who's the landlord at one of the drops that we do, and somehow we figured out we both listen to that podcast. So we'll see him and I'll just be chatting about the podcast, or like we'll do like a little catchphrase off it and stuff like that. But yeah, man, fair play, mate. Fair play. I'll definitely be listening to you in the cab. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, definitely appreciate it, and yeah, just I say being able to do something like this, at the level I do it at is a dream, So yeah, can definitely emphasise with everything you sort of said around the band, and obviously, yeah, can't wait to see more from State of You coming up, and I'm guessing, there will be an intention to play more shows after the Kingston show.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, like yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's kind of about getting us together, and because all of us have got jobs, you know what I mean. We've got like a carpenter, laborer. Ollie does smart things with computers. You know, plumber, then lorry driver. So we're all like kind of we're busy. Like just getting by and doing work and everything. But yeah, we try and get. We rehearse at a place called Silent Hill, just outside Guildford, and that in itself is just so cool because you're able to like, hey man, how you guys all doing? And what's great is with my band is, everyone's been in bands before. There's not like, because sometimes there's a band and they're all cool except for one guy, right, who thinks that they are, whatever, Liam Gallagher or something, and you just like, yeah, come on, like that. But I can attest that the other four are awesome. Maybe I'm the dickhead. I don't know. Maybe I'm the asshole and I don't know. But yeah, they're all good. So it's just to get together and to figure something out, across the room and everything. It's something, because we've not even like played the New Depression together live yet in a room, because we did it, we worked on it, and then, but once it was finalized, we did the music video, which you kind of felt like you're playing live, but you're not. You know what I mean, like that. And so I can't wait. We definitely will be playing that at the show. We've sort of been having the same sort of set list, so we definitely want to mix that up. I mean, I'm kind of toying with the idea about throwing in a cover maybe, but the problem is with covers is you're going to pick a song, hopefully that everyone knows, which is fucking awesome, right? But to make it kind of your own,
Mm.
and then also to then like bring it back into, some people like absolutely smash the covers. I've got a list of covers I fucking love. Someone, I would love it to be my band on, like, on a birthday. I've said that if we ever play on my birthday, we're fucking doing. I want to do the Evolution by Pearl Jam, because that is a phenomenal song which needs to be done heavy and fast and aggressive. Like, I remember seeing that music video, but yeah, there's loads, but I can't don't I promise you we'll be playing the New Depression. I wouldn't hold out with doing a cover.
No, no, definitely. And it's funny because you've kind of straddled into our final section, which is called set list science. And I always am a bit of a, same with music videos, a bit of a geek. I love tracking set lists and obviously seeing how they're formed. And yeah, the main question of this section is, how much importance do you place into the structure of a set list? And have you got any rules that you tend to follow?
Yeah. Never open with something, never open with something that people don't know. That's what I've learned because I've gone to so many shows. Not, I've been to a few shows where you're so buzzed to see this
Hmm.
band. It's so cool that you're in a room with other people who know the band, taking it into their bones, and then you get there and they're playing a song you don't know, and all that kind of energy which is built up just goes like, oh, we don't know this one. So I would definitely say never open with something that people don't know. Um, if you're going to play something which people don't know, sort of towards like the lull of kind of the set, I'd say go up. You know what I mean? You want to go up, 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 up. I mean, like talking about Pearl Jam, like so I can tell, like Eddie Vedder comes up with the set list on the night, and that's a band who, that is a fucking legendary band, right?
Yeah.
And to see, because I do the same thing in set list. You go on set list FM?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so like I found that like a long time ago, and I do all the time. I'll be like, oh, like who's, especially when you've got too much time to kind of, if you're going to go see a band you don't know and you just want to find out what they've been playing and you get into it, or like I'll go through like old, like like Deftones like set list. I wonder what they played in like in between albums and stuff, and you're like, oh god, they fucking played,
Yeah.
they played this, they played that, and everything. But yeah, I think it's, I mean, especially with us because our music's pretty like kind of, it's just full on, like that. Trying to find sort of the to end on like ones which are gonna hopefully by then the crowd sort of like warmed up, because I know what it's like, man, when you're at a gig and you're kind of like, is that guy gonna stop pushing me, or or is this gonna be like that? But like we like to have fun, man. I mean, because obviously like the music, and we throw in a bit of fun like lyrics here and there sort of things. We kind of like call and response sort of thing with the crowd sort of thing. And it like in as the gigs have gone on, you notice sections where people are responding to that. That's a good hook, kind of, you can like that sort of thing. And but yeah, we'll definitely be saving um uh I won't say the best for last, but certainly the ones where I'm like, okay, that is like, you know, like, because I mean the band's so tight. Like taking me out of it, and like I fucking love my band, man. Like they're fucking great at what they do. They're fucking tight. Like they don't fuck about. You know what I mean? Like that. They're all gearheads. Like I'm normally the one there. Like, yeah, it's they'll be talking about certain tuning and amps and this and that, and I'm like, yeah, like, yep, yeah. I don't. I've got like a guitar at home which I'm gathering dust, but although one of my riffs made it onto the EP, and I think subconsciously it went through the band. I was like, hang on, I fucking wrote that riff, but but like yeah, I would say what was the question, dude? I'm so sorry. I'm so tired.
Set
I've been
lists.
up. Yeah. So yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. That's it. It is about like making it where it's about everyone having
Yeah.
fun. It's not, when people start like, when someone, you're at like a party and it's winding down and someone picks up an acoustic guitar and you're like, oh fuck, is this gonna be awkward? And either it is because someone's like this is a song about Jessica who left me, and you're just like, oh man, I thought we were having a good time. And someone else can pick up guitar with kind of that I didn't really give a fuck attitude, and they're just playing like some covers, and you start singing along, you know what I mean? And you're like, yeah, this is, whatever it is, like that sort of thing. And it's kind of got there prepared, and then and just let it be as it will be, and to have fun. And I mean, like we're kind of like seasoned veterans, but we've all had gigs where you come off and you're like, I mean, dude, I've fallen off stage. I've called Luton London once. I remember this. Do you want a really not like awful story?
Always.
Okay, we were sponsored by Monster Energy, right? My old band, right? And we were playing. a festival in Camden, like a day fest, where it was at was it the garage or something, where bands were playing downstairs and then bands were playing upstairs. So kind of they'd rotate, right? And is that the garage? I think that's the garage, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I just seen the Dillinger Escape Plan headwalk video, right? When Greg like just at HMV just runs on like 10 people's head. And I was just like, I gotta do that, man. I have fucking gotta do that, right? And I remember so and we've been on tour like a long time. Like I mean, I think one year we played like 208 shows or something. We really kind of went at it hard and everything. And I remember, it's like kind of the stage was kind of like, like the one place I kind of felt like at home and at ease, you know what I mean? Like that. And I remember I was down by the drum kit, seeing people coming in, and I knew that there was a line of people on the barrier, right? And we kind of had a bit of buzz at that time, something like that. And I remember some people were trying to talk to me and say this and stuff. And I was like, I'm just gonna fucking do that head walk. Like, fucking here we go. You got the fucking video camera ready. Here we fucking go. And I remember it was like, bang, I turn, I run, Paul, right? I jump off the monitor and I realize it's just a line of people on the barrier and then an empty half circle. So I got to like slow my momentum. I grabbed this poor guy and we sort of stumbled back, fell on the floor. I remember one of the guys from the Plight who we were touring with wedgied me, right? I kind of like did this like forwards roll out of it. I have a cowboy boot, something like kicked some girl's drink over some guy. And I remember getting on stage and I was like, stay on stage. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like you have no business getting off that stage again. You know what I mean? Like that. And this is all in the first 30 seconds of the show, right? And I remember, and to be honest, that was back when I think I was so messed up, man. I just so many like, issues and undiagnosed ADHD and everything. And where my confidence was here and there, and I kind of felt like I have to be the crazy one. I have to prove that I'm the fucking craziest guy here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas now, I know who I am now. You know what I mean? Like I got nothing to kind of prove, right? And I remember afterwards we had an interview, and it was like, okay, so tell us about the band. Like, describe your band in 3 words. And I was like, best band ever. And I remember it came out. I was like, oh, I didn't believe that. And I remember all this Monster Energy that I drunk beforehand. I had like 3 cans or something. Started like going out, like almost like you're in a fight, and then afterwards you get a bit like wobbly. And
Yeah.
I remember like going, I need chicken. I need some chicken now. I remember going into like a chicken cottage, getting chicken. I remember sitting in there's like a little park or something nearby, like the garage. I remember sitting down eating this chicken, and 2 people from the gig came and they went past. And I remember one was like, nice way to start that show, mate. And I was like, eating my chicken, yeah. So yeah, that won't be happening. No head walking. Only Greg can head walk, right? I ain't that tight. Yeah, I got dodgy knees now, man. I can't do that shit.
That's it. Yeah, too old now.
Yeah,
Oh no, I love a story like that. No, absolutely fantastic. And yeah, obviously it's been amazing talking with you, Steve. And obviously, like State of You, listeners need to delve into, check out. There's the EP that came out in 2022. Obviously, the new Depression's on our playlist. You've got the show at the Fighting Cocks, and hopefully a lot more coming out over the next sort of year. State of You
yeah.
band across all of
Nothing that
social
I can
media.
kind of announce yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, exactly. That's the way the industry works. That is the way the industry works. But no, obviously, the best place to stay up to date is social media. So yeah, State of You band, you've made my life really easy because I normally have to read out 3 or even 4 different social handles. But State of You band across all the socials. So that's where the listeners need to go and check out. Obviously, the band. Stay up to date with everything coming from yourselves over the next sort of year or so. And yeah, absolutely loving the new Depression. And yeah, obviously delighted to have had you on. Thank you, Steve, for coming on the podcast. What would be your final
right.
message for the listeners today?
Oh man. Well, first of all, thank you for this. Has been an absolute pleasure because, like I said, I don't really get the chance to sort of talk music these days and everything.
Mm,
My final message is, God, I learned a while. This is so fucking cheesy, but I learned a while back. Someone talking about the 51%, right? And what they say about that is, it's really fucking hard to wake up in the morning and be happy like from the get go, and you're just gonna, be like that, and to have 100% day where you're like, everything's fucking great and I'm in a movie. Like, life doesn't work like that. But you have to fucking you have to be kind to yourself in your head. You know what I mean? Like, I remember Drew from Straight from the Path, right? I was talking with him, like, they played Reading or something, and we were talking about someone who kind of on stage had said something about, like, this is from our new album. Like, I know a lot of you didn't like it, but we like it, right? And I remember he just sort of was flippant about it. I've said this to him so many fucking times, right? He was like, man, he was like, never negate yourself, right? And then if you just use those words, right, never negate yourself, right? Because we're all doing this life thing once, for the first time, right?
Yeah.
So you got to be fucking kind to yourself. You got to be your friend. You got to think, like, if your best friend, you heard their shit on like a Sunday night that they go through, you'd be like, why are you fucking bullying yourself? You're fucking awesome. You know what I mean? I fucking love you and stuff like that. And I'm not saying you have to love yourself, right? But if you just wake up in the morning and you just try and lean towards positive, just 51%, you know what I mean? You don't have to go the full way. It's a lot fucking easier than going 49%, or 51% back, you know what I mean? Because like, and there's so many like people who've like, been, fucking, killed themselves or whatever. And you're just like, man, if they fucking knew how awesome they were, do you know what I mean? And you really got to be your own best friend. I mean, I'm saying this and I'm like, I wish I fucking took this advice, you know what I mean? Like something in my life has got to the point where I get up and scream at strangers. So I'm not fucking perfect. I haven't got everything figured out or anything. But you got to be fucking good to yourselves first of all, and just be good to everything like that. I would say there's a lot of shit going on in the world right now, but you can't fucking deal with everything like that. Another thing is the news is fucking designed to keep you doom and gloom. It is. Find out what's going on. You'll learn about it, even if it's fucking Will Smith slapping someone at the Oscars. You'll learn about the big shit, whatever. But you got to focus on yourself first. Fucking make sure you're doing your best to pay the bills. Have fun. Do what you want like that. Don't fucking. My friend Tom Barnes is a photographer, and he's got a rule in his house, right? Which is, don't be a dick and don't take any shit. And that's kind of it. I hope that's me off my preach box. But like
Yeah.
like I said, I'm normally talking with lorry drivers about what food we're going to eat. So yeah.
Which is still an important conversation, but no, that's a great final message. Great final
Oh
message.
mate, that Philly cheesesteak thing that the Philly burger that McDonald's did.
Oh, that was
That was
amazing.
You had it right.
Oh, I had about 50.
Oh dude, I definitely had three. I don't know if they stopped doing it. Right. That thought makes me sad because that was
Yeah.
naughty. That was tasty. That was good.
Hopefully it'll be back. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. You got to live your moment when you can, man. You got to grab those opportunities when you can, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, thank you so much, Steve, for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure, Paul. Thank you, man.
Well, thank you everyone for listening. I really do hope you enjoyed that chat there with State of You. Do make sure you check out their new single, The New Depression, over on our Discover New Music playlist on Spotify. And of course, follow the band across social media to stay up to date with everything coming from them. You can also stay up to date with Full Pelt on social media. We are on Facebook at Full Pelt and on Twitter and Instagram at Full Pelt Music. And finally, if you would, please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, wherever you're watching or listening, because we'll be back very soon with another episode of the Discover New Music podcast.